Welcome to a special mid-month episode of the Open Forum podcast and a special video episode of the Open Forum podcast. Welcome to Let's Talk Phys. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Shout out to those gentlemen.
Yeah, right. To bring you the news, helpful insight, and more from the world. I messed that up. Of physical education. What's up, Aaron? Mike, what's going on? I'd high five you, but I don't know if we're in the right location.
You can tell something big is about to happen when A, we bring you a mid-month episode,
Yes.
and B, when it's so important, we have to actually throw our faces in here as well.
That's
we both
right.
have faces made for radio, so
No, you guys are good.
So long story short, we recorded an episode about a week and a half ago talking about some of the things going on behind the scenes through this new era of at-home PE and trying to get kids active all across the country, all around the world, with high-quality PE resources. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say I think we totally bombed at it and didn't get any of the information correct. So why not bring in an actual expert, the guy who actually knows what's going on?
Yeah, you guys did all right.
Well, thank you. Aaron Hart, hello, welcome.
Hey.
How are
Thank
things,
you.
brother?
They're weird. Just, we're living in strange times and everybody is just trying to figure it out and patch things together and, make new systems on the fly. And, if there's one thing that we at Open have been pretty good at is making new systems on the fly. We've been doing it for about 5 years now. So it's been a remarkable time to have a platform like we do, really, and be able to serve as many people as we can, and just first and foremost to help teachers prepare their lessons, prepare their distance learning classes for their own personal mental health. Out of the messages we've gotten back from teachers, that's probably the thing we've heard the most, is that they're just grateful for our services because it helped relieve their anxiety.
I mean, I can't imagine how you and I must have different definitions for the term patching things together, because if you call the resources that you guys have been putting out as patching it and making it on the fly, I can't imagine if you had known a month or two in advance you'd be doing this, how great the stuff would be.
Yeah, we probably had 3 days notice, 4 days notice, where I think Lori Dunn was the first person to shoot me a text message and say, hey, this is going to happen, and she's right there in the heart of it in Seattle. Then a couple of members reached out, and then Rich Wiles started texting me. And Rich is pretty relentless when he has an idea, and he's like, look, we got to start working on this. And I'm like, listen, we got it going on. So, Lori helped craft some of the early kind of just structure. Rich put together the first draft of the charts that we provide weekly. And Rich and Nick Klein and myself and a whole bunch of Open national trainers, and Brian's been a maniac on social media, letting people know about it. It's been a huge team effort, but it's been remarkable. The engagement that we've had from teachers everywhere. It's awesome.
Oh, fast forward, week 6 materials just got posted yesterday. So
yeah, week 6. And so the great thing about week 6 is it's a collaboration with our partners at Hip Hop Public Health. And Dougie Fresh just launched a track, 20 seconds or more, which is really one of those, it's gonna end up being like a classic schoolhouse rock type of thing where kids are gonna remember Dougie Fresh, wash your hands, everybody. So we were able to work with Lori Rose Benson and Dr. Williams and the whole team over there. And Artie Green is an amazing producer. He put the whole project together. And so we developed some curriculum tools to wrap around it. And so all of the kids that are working with our at-home tools this week will be working with not only our instructional tools, but also listening to Dougie Fresh and Artie Green and that amazing track they put together. So that was a fun one. This week was definitely a fun one.
And not even just the track itself, if you've seen the video yet, we're
Yeah, the
talking
video is
about,
amazing.
Ashanti, Rasheed Wallace, Jamie Foxx. Like these are not
Yeah.
these are not nobodies. These are some pretty big names who are collaborating on this program here.
Yeah. Well, when you're the legendary Dougie Fresh, I'm sure you have some people like in your phone you can, you can hit them up.
Calling a few favors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, just to circle back for a quick sec to something you mentioned before, I don't want to give off the impression that this special episode is a self pat on the back or anything like that. But I think it needs to be promoted and put out there. If not even just the quality of the resources, what Open is doing, again, for people's peace of mind. I was just, planning over my spring break this past week and getting ready for the week ahead. And it's such a relief knowing that I kind of faked it until I made it for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But now I can kind of rely on materials that I know the quality is up there. Whether it's the Believe in You SEL series or physical activities through the open curriculum maps there and the active home module, it just makes things so much easier for me as an educator to know that some of that heavy lifting is being shared.
Yeah, and people are using the resources in a variety of different ways. So it's not like it's a prescription where you have to download and use a specific way. Like people are pulling things out of packets, they're putting things into packets, they're using Google Docs, they're using whatever shared services, and it's been a huge learning curve for us too, because there was such a need for Google Docs that we had to shift on the fly. We've been delivering things through Microsoft Word for so long, but everybody's like, look, we need at least portions of this in Google Docs. And so we were able, and it's still a little bit of a learning curve on that, but it's going exceptionally well. And engagement, like I said, I was telling you guys ahead of the broadcast, we celebrated 2 million downloads in December. And according to my analytics, we're going to hit 3 million downloads tomorrow. So that's less than, yeah. And the majority of those downloads have come really since March, 15th, 16th.
Right.
And, it's a joy to be able to provide that service.
Now, have you had time, I guess, to reflect on that in depth, or is it still full steam ahead? We don't know how long this is going to last. Let's keep pumping out new material.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think there was any way we'd be producing week 6, let alone week 7, 8, and 9. Right. I thought this was going to be 3 to 4 weeks. And the very first resources we put out were 2 weeks. I had no idea. But we're able to really take a look now and say, okay, what's been effective? What are people utilizing the most? And we can see what the download rates are on certain things. And we can, shift gears and kind of go in that direction and give people what they've been using and what they find useful. It's what you can find on Google Analytics is pretty amazing.
And could you just to peel the curtain back a little bit? One thing that I've been amazed about in looking at these resources is how easily you've been able to tie the material to suit people's diverse needs, whether it's, indoors with limited resources to backyard. Is that an intentional part of the planning, or how tough was it to make those resources as accommodating as possible?
In terms of like the creative process behind a lot of this stuff, it's very collaborative, but we always try to start with the student who is in their home, in an apartment, can't go outside, has no equipment, right? And so you start with that student and say, we want to make this accessible to them. Equity of access is our whole mission. And then as we add any sort of like challenges or maybe extensions or modifications, then we add in some of those things where, okay, if you can go outside, you can do this. But for the most part, we want to make sure we're serving that student who is in a situation where they have very limited space and almost no, if not no equipment.
My kids.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
and so you start there, I'm lucky, I live in upstate New York. We have a big yard. My son can go shoot baskets when he's sick of seeing me and his mom, or, You know, and
I don't know how that can happen.
yeah, you know, but we realize, you know, it just, you know, from friends, family, from you all, from my colleagues who are in a much different situation, it's, you know, kids are having a hard time right now. And you know, the first couple of weeks we really talked about, okay, well, how can we help kids develop skill? And you know, we've made a little bit of a pivot from that, and it's not that we only want them to go out and you know, worry about being physically active. We do want to develop standards-based materials still. But the reality of what we're looking at is why don't we focus on the third of our outcomes that are all affective domain, and really start to think about, not start to think about, but to continue to think about the social and emotional aspects, which is why we brought in Kevin Atlas in the whole Believe in You series. And you know, we want teachers to have good mental health. We want to help relieve their stress and anxiety. We want kids to move and understand the benefits, the emotional and psychological benefits that they're receiving when they do move their bodies. And if they can get their parents to move while they're being active so that their parents can relieve some stress and feel all those positive effects. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That's the big picture outcome right now. And from what I can see on social media and just through feedback, we're doing a decent job. We're doing a decent job with the help of the creativity of the teachers that are implementing it. So the physical education community at large is doing amazing things, because if you look, like in my son's phys ed folder on his Google, you know, his Google Classroom, I mean, he's got stuff from our resources, but he's got resources from all sorts. He's got the dancers, he's got all sorts of people, you know, stuffed in his folder that his PE teachers have collected. And so our analytics are up. I'm sure that the analytics for everybody that are developing free resources out there, I'm sure everybody's engagement and analytics are up.
And we had talked about 2 weeks ago that there are so many more people creating content now.
Yeah, right.
That it's crazy. It's so many
crazy.
people.
It is crazy. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
You know, and the cornerstone of the whole active home module that was originally up there was that, you know, getting kids active at home, getting their families involved. And this incident, this situation has kind of, you know, gave it a big kick in the pants.
Yeah, it's completely different than what it was posted and intended for.
Yeah.
And it's evolved in a much challenging and interesting ways. But you know, it's one of those things, as we kind of go into some sort of normalcy, just like the rest of the world, we're all going to have to prepare for this to happen again, right? There's a good chance that this is going to happen again, and we're all going to have to kind of go back to, you know, social distancing practices and these sorts of things. So just like the rest of the world, we'll prepare. We'll take a look at what we did. We will analyze the good, the bad, and the, you know, mediocre, and then we'll remix it so that it's as good as it possibly can be. So when we go into this situation again, everybody's ready and everyone knows they can come to us, and it's well organized and it's there for them.
Now, one thing that Mike and I talked about in our previous episode was, and to your previous point, Aaron, about teachers who are kind of collecting these resources from all over the internet, all over social media, from open, from various places, and what a benefit it's been to have some of the open trainers, like the dancers that you mentioned, the Brandon Herwicks, the Mike Morrises, who are putting together some pretty high level videos to show these open activities in action. Yeah. Because chances are, if again, anything like my son's school, I've got a folder of materials and a website. And as the parent, I have to kind of figure it out on my own. And if PE is not a natural thing for you,
right,
it might be difficult to take that lesson card, that activity card, and figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
So any shout outs for those trainers who are making big things happen?
I mean, huge love, because I mean, an Open National Field Day is a testament to that. So the entire Open National training team has really come together to create activities, to create videos, to create a virtual experience that 10,000 schools, 10,000 sites are going to participate in. So that's close to 3 million students if we just do some average math. And I talk about morale and really lifting people's spirits when they need it. Kids are missing out on all sorts of things because they're not in school. And field day is one of those things. And us being able to bring just a little bit of field day to them in a very, remote virtual way and allow their parents and families to participate is huge. And if it wasn't for the trainers, it wouldn't happen, because honestly, I've got my hands full trying to publish weekly packets and, create some other things that we've got going on and keep the ship rolling ahead. Brian DeVore came to me and was like, hey, we want to do this field day thing on May 8th. And he at first he was like, didn't know what I was going to say, because he knew that we were already 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But how can you not love it? Right? I mean, everybody loves field day.
Hang on for 1 second. I think I'm getting kicked out of the park. Hang on.
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. I was taking a phone call. Sorry about that. Gotta find a new parking lot. Feel free to edit that out later.
No, man, that's definitely getting.
This is great.
It's in there.
It's all right, because when we were talking about Dougie Fresh, I was playing music. So if you listen to the audio version, you'll hear it, but you guys didn't hear it. So you kept talking, and here I was dancing. So in the video version, you're gonna see me dancing with no music.
You got to listen to the audio. You got to watch the video. There's all sorts of amazing things and all that.
On the bright side, there's a gas station parking lot right across the street. So I'm just going to zip over there.
There you go. Hey, man, this is the new reality, right?
Yeah.
I thought the park was a safer place. Apparently not.
I have to get a green screen. This tells me I have to get a green. I tore apart the Open Forum podcast command center today.
Yeah.
Still have stuff everywhere, and I need a fancy green screen like Aaron.
Hey, man, we all have rooms that look like that. That's the purpose of the green screen. It's hiding.
Yeah, right.
Plethora
put it up
of
so you don't see anything.
stuff that you live. But yeah, I mean, so just back to field day. It's just an amazing event. People can still register. That's a big question that comes up. We're going to leave registration open actually all the way through up to May 8th. And then we're going to leave all of the materials we've created. We're going to leave them posted and live kind of indefinitely on the website. We have no plans in taking any of those things down. And this Tuesday, in 2 days, actually it'll be a day when you're watching this, we're going to start launching all the videos that you all, the Open National Trainers, have been putting together on all of those field day activities. So it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, Aaron. It's a time when, I mean, people are pretty down for a variety of reasons. One, because of the added stress that comes along with, I still have to do my job and do it at a high level without knowing what the heck we're doing, trying to do it from the couch or from the dining room table. But also the sad reality as various states are finding out slowly but surely that their school year is done with. I didn't get to see my kids. I didn't get to say goodbye. My highest grade that's graduating, I'm not going to be able to see them again. And share in that moment that all teachers, I know for a long time I had a love-hate relationship with field day, because it's one of those, I know I'm going to log 50,000 steps today,
right.
Like a maniac. But the joy that comes along with that for teachers, for students, for families, it's something that, you're going to miss. And now to some degree, people don't have to miss that anymore.
Yeah. And that's all. And we're trying to take as much of the heavy lifting away from the PE teachers and give them all the resources that they need to just run a successful day. And, whether they can do this, maybe in New York, upstate New York, we may end up going back to school this year because our kids don't get out of school until June 27th or some crazy date like that.
Right.
And, so there is a possibility our kids are going to have field day in June. But we've already heard from local PE teachers and said, hey, if we do this on May 8th, can we use these activities in our field day? Absolutely. Just like anything that we publish on Open, use it, modify it, make it your own. You don't have to do it, word for word. And it's better when you don't, because the creativity that PE teachers have, and they turn all this stuff just into absolute gold when they make it their own. So,
And
what's better than field day is field day twice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And going back to that idea of making this accessible for everyone that we talked about with the active home module, some folks have been reaching out to me because I've been trying to promote this as much as I can. And they've loved the fact that, they're asking questions about, well, is this supposed to be collaborative or competitive? Is it a singles or a doubles or a team? It can be whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
Right? If you're home in New York City, if you're home in upstate New York, if you're outdoors in California, if you're by yourself with a sibling, with a whole class at school, it's still going to work for you.
I've got a couple emails, just interesting emails, where PE teachers would say, how do I determine the winner? We have to have a winner. And I was like, hey, that's hardcore, man. Like,
coin flip?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we're going to provide a score sheet. We want kids to beat their personal best scores and have a little friendly competition amongst the people in their home, and basically have something that they can throw into a shoebox and pull out in 20 years and say, hey, remember this crazy thing when we were stuck at home and I did this field day thing online? But if you as a PE teacher think you really need a winner, then yeah, figure it out. I'm sure there's a way. I don't know.
Now,
Google Sheets points leaders board. And,
yeah. And to piggyback off that, if you are that hardcore, then maybe you want to kick it up even one more notch. And now let's not compete against our own students, but we could do this statewide, do it nationwide.
Let's go.
We've got 10,000 sites that are competing in this now, right?
Believe me, we've had a couple of Zoom meetings on how we could possibly logistically do that. We don't have the budget. that's way beyond our current budget. Yeah. Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, we'd have to hire some 20-year-old programmer from Stanford or something to figure it out for us, and we just can't afford that.
Listen, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm just saying.
I don't know how to program. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Miller, you're doing enough, man. Yeah. So you guys are definitely going to want to tune in. I know Miller will be there. I know Mike Martinez, you'll be there May 7th for the opening ceremonies. Executive producer Mike Miller is putting it all together for us, and it's going to be fun. We're going to have some really cool special guests. And it's just going to be,
it's going to be wild. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Now, I was a little, my eyebrow went up a little bit when I saw that in the Friday email with resources. I'm thinking, opening ceremonies. Are we carrying a virtual torch? Are we running across the country here? Like, what is there fire involved? What's going on?
There are torch runners. There will be fire involved.
I can't wait to see that, because I don't have any part of that, and I've heard all about it, and I want to see it.
Lynn Heffley is another amazing open national trainer, and she's been spearheading the whole torch run just event. And
it was after she climbed out of the half gallon of ice cream that she climbed into. Have you seen that video on Twitter? It was amazing.
So, I mean, again, just the spirit of teachers helping teachers and the open national trainers coming together. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing to be a part of. And I love just being able to facilitate and help make it all happen.
And again, as an open trainer, as an educator, how heartwarming is it just to know that currently 10,000 different schools are registered, literally millions of children are going to experience this all over the country, even from other countries that are chiming in, and are going to still have that same experience to go through together at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what happens. Like, somebody has a crazy idea. Hey, let's do Open National Field Day. Then they tell, all it takes is one other trainer to hear a crazy idea. There goes my Sundays. But it's all good. It's all good.
Outstanding.
You guys want to hear about the brand new Open Power Discounts program?
Yes.
I knew there was one more topic that we hadn't touched on yet.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Friday email,
here comes the segue. This is the part where you segue.
Speaking of those Friday emails that I've been getting about field day, I couldn't help but noticing another email offering mind-blowing discounts for some open equipment. Tell us more about this, Aaron.
So this has actually been in the works for about 6 months. So this is a project that I've been negotiating hard with the help of Kurt Stone and talking with the folks from BSN Sports to try to see how we can allow our membership to support the work that we do through their purchases, because Open is 100% funded because people buy their equipment through US Games and BSN Sports. That's how we receive 100% of our funding. And we wanted to make it as easy as possible for teachers to be able to support us through the best possible pricing that's there. I mean, especially now, like this, again, this has been in the works for 6 months, but as people head back and, tax bases are shifting and unemployment is a real thing for many, many parents that haven't had to deal with anything like this before. So PTOs may not have as big of fundraisers and that sort of thing this year. So, I mean, now more than ever, price is going to be critical when it comes to physical education budgets. And so, we did a big survey about 16 months ago. And we said, for people who are not buying equipment from US Games, what's the biggest barrier? Why aren't you buying equipment from US Games? And they said, we would like to buy equipment from US Games, but it's all about budget and we need better pricing. And so what we did is we went back and we negotiated all of the items that you need to do a full-blown open implementation. So there's you can do any of the open modules with the equipment that we're providing in this new open catalog. And then we went back and we haggled basically and said, what's the deepest discount that we can possibly get? And we looked at all the metrics and the buying power of 100,000 open members really helps in those negotiations.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So our database just hit 100,000. And they're going to allow us to run this program. It's they gave us a year to see what will happen. But my hope is it's going to be ridiculously successful and it'll continue beyond that and expand. And that's the goal. If we can really drive good funding for our programming through this, then we'll be able to expand it and add more products and that sort of thing. But that's the premise behind it. We want our members to be able to feel good about supporting us and at the same time still be conscientious about their budgets, because PE still is living off of very, very small budgets. So,
and I mean, that's a very real thing. I think, we as open trainers and people who are kind of closer related to Open than most know that there is a relationship between US Games, BSN, and Open. But even me personally, I try to distance myself from business because I'm not a business guy. But the sad reality is we need to sell things in order to keep the machine rolling in the right direction here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's every organization needs to be funded in some way. Schools are funded by taxes, and when you want bigger and better things at your school, you have to increase taxes. Right. Nonprofits are responsible for the grants that they write and then the objectives of those grants. We just have a different business model. Our business model is a percentage of every piece of equipment that's sold through open implementations and US Games comes back to fund Open National Field Day and at-home resources, all the different things that we do, it's directly funded through those equipment purchases.
And I know as an educator, even if, I mean, there's no one who loves Open and their mission more than Open National Trainers and those, the members who are affiliated with it. But like you said, at the end of the day, I can only spend the money that I have.
Right.
So if it comes down to going to a bargain retail outlet or a local mom and pop shop that can get me maybe cheaper quality equipment, but I can actually afford,
Mm-hmm.
I might have to lean there because my money will go further.
Right.
Before these discounts were in place. So I'm hoping that shifts the needle a little bit,
right,
to be able to compete with those prices, but get the mission supported and funded, and be able to help out Open along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I buy stuff from Amazon all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have my pantry cart all ready to go, and I've got toilet paper coming, I hope. And so I buy from Amazon, but it always just hurts my heart when I see physical educators, with a great deal on Amazon, and nothing against Amazon, they do tremendous things, but they do not support the physical education community. I mean, you don't see them at conferences, they don't support state and national organizations, and they don't provide resources and content for physical educators. And what I want to be able to do and say at the end of the day is, you can buy from Open and you can support our mission, and we're still going to give you prices that are comparable to Amazon, because that's what teachers need.
And while we're at it, I do want to give a small shout out to Amazon. If it wasn't for their delivery drivers, I wouldn't see any new faces over the last 4 or 5 weeks or so. So yeah. Thanks for that, guys.
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
You're spot on. It's kind of a tricky operation. Again, the folks that you have to deal with at BSN, at US Games, they have a mission that needs to be met as well,
mm-hmm.
and a bottom line needs to be met as well.
Right.
But sure, the pendulum swings a little bit from, Aaron's being crazy again, to Aaron has 100,000 folks who are behind him and saying, hey, we'd love to buy from you if our budgets, if our wallets could allow it.
Right. And they see the tremendous response and the love that our members give to us, because BSN folks, I mean, you've seen, Chris Hutton, Jason Stolley, Terry Babilla, you've seen these guys at our conferences, at our shows, and they're genuine human beings who care about us. And I mean, here's the reality. We're in a worldwide global pandemic / recession. BSN sells directly to schools, athletics, youth sports. Business isn't perfect right now. Right. And
not even a little bit.
Yeah. And so, but here's the reality. They continue to support our work and our mission. Right. So they know that even in these times when everybody's kind of looking at what's essential and what's not essential, so far they're looking at Open and saying, this is an essential service that we give the teachers and coaches, and we have to continue with that. So I'm incredibly grateful for the faith that they have in us and the generosity that they've shown. But at the same time, like you said, we have to find ways to allow our members to support us. And, I don't want to, we will not charge for membership. We won't, right? It's just, it's something that we said from the very beginning, we're not going to do. So, that's where we're at. But can I show you, can I share my screen and show you some of the tools?
Yeah, let's walk through this. I'd love to see it.
All right. So let's see if I can do this effectively here and not mess anything up.
While you pull this up, what better way to show that you're an essential commodity or resource than having 500,000 plus downloads in a month, and 10,000 more members in a month. It's definitely something that's very needed in the community right now.
And everybody needs something good to celebrate. And so it's been really nice for across the entire BSN and Varsity Brands enterprise for them to have, they're celebrating the work that we're doing. They're celebrating the work that Kevin Atlas and the Believe in You team is doing and providing for free, and all of the virtual coaching clinics that the BSN sports teams are doing. Amazing stuff. Herf Jones is, they just created a thing, a platform now where there's going to be virtual commencements. And that's some of the great work being done by Varsity Brands. So, it's really a remarkable company to be a part of, and I'm grateful.
Shout out to them. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So Open homepage. You guys recognize this place, don't you?
For those of you listening, the video version of this will be posted, I'm assuming, on the YouTube channel. So you can go over and see everything that Aaron is doing at youtube.com/OpenPhysEd, just so you can see how to access all this stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So up here in the upper right, we got a new tab, Open Equipment. I'm going to click on that. And up comes a landing page for Open Power discounts. There's a few different ways to shop. You can see the cover of our virtual catalog. So we're not going to be mailing any of these catalogs because we've heard from schools that they don't want catalogs mailed and they don't want outside vendors dropping off catalogs. So we worked hard again with the BSN folks to create a virtual catalog so people can view it right on their screen. So I'll click on that in just a minute. I'm going to show you how to shop online in just a minute too. But before we do that, I just want to show you these grade level equipment lists. So from early childhood, primary, intermediate, all the way through high school, we provided curated lists of equipment that are discounted and in this book that are specific to grade levels. So if you're opening a brand new school, for example, or if you just got a huge grant and you were at a school with almost no equipment previously, you can click on like middle school and up will come an entire list of everything you need with the recommended quantities, and even an 800 number where you can call in and use a flyer code. But you can see as we kind of go through some of these pricings, like juggling scarves, normally 16 bucks, get them for $8 now.
Wow.
Hoop storage bags, which people don't realize how amazing hoop storage bags can be.
Great for spike ball nets.
Great for spike ball nets, and when you put hoops in them, but then there's all that space in the center of the hoop where you can jam stuff in there. But again, 50, so you can go through and see Zoomer scooters. Scooters are like 50% off scooters.
That's crazy.
Right? Come on now. I mean, this is scrimmage vests, 50% off. Flag belts, 50% off. So, you're going through pop-up goals, 50% off.
Whoa.
The pricing that we've been able to negotiate and they've allowed us to publish here is just outstanding. So anyway, all these equipment lists are there for anybody who wants to grab them. Again, like most stuff, we give it in different formats, PDF, Excel. So I'm just going to click on the Excel doc here quick and open one up. Get the right spreadsheet. So here's the spreadsheet, all of the same stuff that you saw on the PDF, except for things are locked except for the quantities. So like let's say you love these PG soft footballs and you, instead of 4, you want 400. Boom. The price changes. That's a lot of footballs. You probably don't want 400 footballs. It's $10,000 worth of footballs even at a very deep discount. But anyway, you can go in and you can manipulate quantities and it'll give you the pricing and all that sort of thing. So click back off that. I don't want to save it. And I'm going to hop back over. So inside of our digital catalog, I'm going to open that up. Up comes the cover, and you can flip through just like you would a normal catalog. So we didn't talk about this, but a little shout out to the brand new Open Teacher Learning School online professional development that we just launched last month and have like 3,000 students already taking classes.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Wow.
But this is, again, just like your catalog that you would receive in the mail, you can flip through and check it out. Within here, we've got these yellow starbursts or sunbursts or whatever, 50% off. Every item in here in the catalog that's 50% off has that burst. And you can see there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's on the first page there.
Almost every single.
Yeah. So it's going to load because we're doing a million things at once. But yeah, I mean, and if it's not 50% off, it's pretty close, right? 40% off. There are a couple of items, like our friends from Polar, they wanted to be a part of this because we do use Polar heart rate monitoring, in some of the open content that we publish. And, we can't give a 50% off discount on Polar. It's completely impossible. So we give the best discount that we can. And it's in the book, and people can order Polar through this experience as well. So as you kind of go through, it's all grade levels, early childhood, all the way through grade 12. Look at this, 50% off parachutes.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
And to clarify, you said that this is not a week-long promotion or a month-long. This is if I don't get my new budget until September,
right?
I still have time for these prices, right?
Still have time. And so they're giving us a year as a test run. And, we need to see the buying power of 100,000 open registered members. I mean, that's the promise that we're kind of making, is that we're going to lower prices, but we're going to sell more equipment, and we're going to get teachers the stuff that they need at a price that they can afford. I mean, low profile cones. How many times have you, just needed more low profile cones? Ooh, that didn't work. So here you got to use your magnifying glass if you want to zoom in. But here, low profile cones, $8 for a dozen.
$8.
Can't beat wowzers. Can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted it to be like, you feel like you're walking into a Five Below, right?
Yeah.
I bought stuff from a Five Below, not PE stuff. I've never bought PE stuff from Five Below because it's against every fiber of my being to do so. But the reality is, a lot of people do because the prices are good.
Yeah.
Well, these are good quality, low profile cones. They're not going to crack when you step on them. And we can offer them at a price that's comparable to like a Five Below.
And I feel like the timing on this is really spot on, because I feel like most people are either at the end of the year where they have budget money left over from the school year and might need to make a purchase, or else they lose that money.
Yeah.
And in just a few months, when school starts up again, budgets might start anew, and the well will be much deeper at that point for people looking to make those purchases.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not sending these catalogs out, aside from the millions and millions of people listening to this episode, how else are you getting the word out to folks to hopefully stimulate more purchasing?
So tomorrow in our open e-newsletter, we're going to blast it out so everybody's aware that this is now available to them. And we're going to continue to push it out in our social media messaging, as well as all of our email messaging. And then we have a team of territory managers who work in Dallas, and they are on the phone. They're on their emails, directly emailing all US Games customers and as many open users as they can, letting them know that they can help them with the pricing. And those kids are great in Dallas. They do a great job. So I feel confident that tons of people are going to hear about this within the next couple of weeks, and they can buy at this pricing now if they need to spend their budget. And then those territory managers back in Dallas can hold the shipment until schools reopen. So that's
awesome.
Yeah, that's another important thing that people really need to be able to know about. But yeah.
So I don't have to have $10,000 of footballs sent to my house and bring it back.
Although that would be awesome.
Especially grippy footballs.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Yeah. I'm so excited about this opportunity for teachers, as well as, for the open community. Our friends from Scholastics are participating. Our friends from Speed Stacks are participating. But the reality is, when we start to come out of this and go back to a normal that we all are craving, right? We want to continue to expand our programming and expand our reach and do bigger and better things, and get open national trainers out to more and more teachers across the country. And the way that's going to happen is, people taking advantage of this program and supporting open through their purchases. And, you can buy good quality, these Voigt grippy basketballs are amazing, right? But a lot of people, instead of buying Voigt grippies, they're going to buy something else because of the price. Well, now these are 50% off for the next year.
A huge kudos to you for getting this job done here. And a huge shout out to Kurt Stone and the boys over at US Games and BSN, because if I know anything about the business world, huge discounts and smiles don't go hand in hand over there. So,
that's true.
I do hope that this plan comes to fruition and that people can start taking advantage of it, and not only get the material they need, but be able to do it in a way that makes them feel fiscally comfortable,
right,
and responsible to for their budgets.
Yeah, exactly. And, a lot of folks will say, hey, we have a district contract. Is this pricing better than our district contract, or can we use it instead of our district contract? Every district's going to be different. So I don't have a perfect answer for that. But I do know that our territory managers will take a look, and they'll run the pricing at your district pricing, and then they'll run it at open discounted pricing, and they'll let you know which pricing is better. So that's happened to us now 3 or 4 times, and because we did a soft launch last week, and the response was really, really good. But we had a couple of districts come in, and we helped them out, and open power pricing was cheaper than their district discount every time.
Of course.
Yeah. And you think about where's your dollar going? Your dollar is going towards quality equipment and a huge public service organization.
Yeah. And we're anxious for everybody to get back to school for a lot of different reasons. But the economy in our country right now is fragile. Mm-hmm. Right. And so let's do all that we can to help our teachers out, to help our schools out, and to help organizations out that are doing good things in a time of crisis. And so, I think that we've created a program here that's, really beneficial for everybody involved. So
just another beautiful example of teachers helping teachers.
I think so. I think so. I'm excited about it. And, we're going to find out, in the next few months, what it means. We always saw 100,000 members as a huge milestone. Mm-hmm. And we didn't think that all of that would happen in the midst of a global pandemic.
Of course.
But that's the situation. And so now, I've been doing kind of a lot of, I don't know if soul searching is the right word, but I've been traveling a lot less.
Reflection. Silent reflection on what does 100,000 registered members mean? And it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge responsibility. But it's a blessing, because I think that our community, our physical education community, has the opportunity to come together like we never have before. And that's really going to be my mission over the next 12 months, is how do we use this platform to bring those 100,000 registered members together as a community. And the Open National Trainers are the backbone of that. So I thank you, gentlemen, for living that spirit every single day. And to all of your colleagues out in the world, all the other Open National Trainers who just lead by example. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Who I love and miss terribly. Group me is not enough.
Yeah. Now we need a group Zoom on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but again, in unprecedented times, in times of turmoil and uncertainty, I tip my invisible hat to you and to Brian, the rest of the team, for just staying steadfast, staying stoic, and making sure that the machine keeps moving forward, that we're still cranking out active home materials, that we're still bringing field day to the masses, that we're still trying to get high quality, affordable equipment into people's hands. This could not be done without your leadership. So a huge thank you to you as well, Aaron.
Well, it is my pleasure. I love my job.
For those who are listening at home, I'm golf clapping. You can't see it.
As if we haven't touched on enough huge topics for one night. Anything else that we're forgetting that's still in the back burner? Anything else that you want to plug before we say goodnight?
That's a lot. We did talk about a lot, and I'm sure that there's more, but I hope you gentlemen will have me on again if I ask.
Absolutely.
Any time, just send the Zoom invite.
A standing invitation.
Beautiful.
So these show notes might run a little longer than normal. We're plugging the Active Home module in there if you need direct access to those resources. We are plugging field day materials.
Mike, your battery just went dead, right?
I certainly hope. We're plugging field day resources if you need direct access to that registration link. We're plugging Dougie Fresh's new track with Hip Hop Public Health on 20 seconds or more of washing your hands there. We're plugging the power discounts for those who are looking for a restocking of equipment at affordable prices. So lots of links coming your way very, very soon.
All the things.
Aaron, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your incredibly busy schedule to chat with us and to share this positive information, man.
Thank you, boys. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So keep an eye out, folks, for those links in the show notes. Those should be coming your way very, very shortly. If you have any other questions, open related for Aaron, for myself, for Mr. Miller, you can always reach the show via email at OpenForumPod. Is that right?
Yeah. Do you not have your cue card?
I certainly don't.
OpenForumPod@gmail.com.
At OpenForumPod@gmail.com. Or you can reach Mr. Miller and myself directly on Twitter. I'm available at PhysEdFreak.
And I am at Coach Miller PE.
Let's keep engaging, folks. Let's keep social distancing together and come on the other side bigger and better than ever. Let's keep this a truly open forum. Until next time, stay active, everyone.